Previously on the Donut Bag, the last time we talked was right after the 18th, which was a Wednesday game. It was the one in Ottawa, where Ottawa won 5-4 in overtime, and it was a complete bleep show. That was a game where there was almost like more power plays than 5-on-5 time, and they lost on overtime because that's what they do. They lose in overtime. So that was the last time we talked. Then the next game was also against Ottawa, but this was at home. This is Friday night, the 20th, and it was almost a completely different situation. They won 4-1, but they looked much better. They looked like they just looked much better. What did you think about that Ottawa game?
I'll be honest with you, what was that? That was a Friday night, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was half engaged to that game. Like I watched, but I didn't watch. My attention span was a little lacking. I was a little disappointed that Smith wasn't playing. In fact, I'm very disappointed in that. But I was not disappointed in Brian Dumoulin's play. I noticed he was actually pretty active in that game. I think he had one, from my notes, I think he had one bad play, or that might have been another game. That might have been the New Jersey game. I can't remember. I'd have to look at my notes, but he was good. He had 5 hits, 2 blocks, and no turnovers, Dumoulin, against Ottawa that night. And I noticed that Sidney had more life in his game, which I really appreciated seeing. We saw more out of Gensel that night. He had a 3-point night. It was good. I like that. It was good. It was good. Problem I had with that game was Carter's been moved back over to wing, and he's still our best face-off man. And I mean, Bluger is like around 40% face-off, and Carter that night went 75. And I mean, if you don't want to put Carter on this, I'm frustrated with this, because you look at teams that are doing really well in the league and they rely on face-off wins, because like we've discussed this before, face-off, it starts the play, it creates the momentum of the play rather than chasing the puck. You're moving the puck. This is very detrimental to, success in a hockey game and in the play in itself. Like moves Carter down to the 4th line center. Like, he's not like, we don't need him on the 3rd line, but we do need to win faceoffs. Anyways, this is something that really bothers me. But one thing I was more happy with was, like I said, Dumoulin and Sidney in that game. But that's all I got, really.
They had 44 shots in this game. And who came back? Was this okay? This is when Jarry came back. So I think that was also a big difference in the game. But yeah, because of the Ottawa had a lot of shots too. Ottawa had like I think 45 shots. Or yeah,
45
and
44, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a completely different game, even though they played 2 nights before. It was like a completely different game.
Yeah, we outplayed them for sure in almost every area. Not in the we had more turnovers, but that's kind of our jam.
Yeah. The Crosby line had 6 scoring chances and 2 goals in on 5-on-5. Yeah, and also Friedman played, and Friedman, I don't know what he does, but everyone wants to kill him. So he's just an agitator, I guess.
Yeah, I find he's kind of I want to say this sensitively. I think he's kind of like how do I put this? He's like
A
a guerrilla style hockey player. Like he's got no fluidity to his game. He's very raw. He's kind of like all over the place in a sense. Like, imagine, how could I compare him? I don't know. I'm trying to think of another player I could compare him to. Kind of like Dominic Hasek's style of a goalie, how he was kind of like all over the place. You know what I mean? He didn't have like this certain style. Friedman is just kind of like throws himself all over the place. Like I you know it. We talk through the games. I'm not a Friedman fan. I mean, I've got my notes here, and I write down the lineup, and I haven't scratched out every time. I'm like, I don't want him. But he plays.
I don't think it's not ideal if he's playing a lot. He's like Ruedel. It's like one of those temporary players. You play 1 or 2 games. If he's playing all the time, you got problems.
Yeah, no, I really, really don't want Ruedel on the team anymore. And I've been saying that to you every game. I'm like, what is going on here? I know. I mean, anyways, we'll get to that. Yeah, I didn't make any notes about Friedman in this game.
The 4th goal the Penguins scored, which was a beautiful tic-tac-toe with Crosby and Gensel. That was beautiful. That was something. So how did missed shots and turnovers look in this game?
We had 20 errors in this game, so we had 11 turnovers and 9 missed shots. Gino was in first place. I ranked them, you know this, with 3 turnovers and 1 missed shot. He had 0 points on the night, so he was a disaster. Second place was Petry with 1 turnover and 2 missed shots. He's having 3 errors by my calculations. He had 1 assist, which 4.4 goal game. I mean, that's a meh to me. And then we have Raquel, Rust, and Gensel with 2 errors on the night. Raquel and Gensel with 2 turnovers, and Rust with 1 turnover and 1 missed shot. But Gensel had 2 goals and assist. He's our first star of the game for sure. And Rust had 2 assists. Can't complain about that. And Raquel had 1 goal. So, I mean, if you're making points, if you're getting goals, primarily goals, assists to me, primary assists matter, secondary assists, you might as well give everyone that touches the puck before a goal an assist. But primary assists matter to me. So in that area, I kind of cancel out errors. Your turnovers, not so much. If you're getting more, like for example, Gino, 3 turnovers in 1 game, like, get it together, bud. Like, you're just like it's too sloppy for me. For a veteran player, you gotta tighten that up a little bit. Sometimes I watch Gino and I'm like, what are you thinking? And he's not thinking. He's just expecting someone to be there. One thing about Gino, he's just tries to be too fancy, and he's hoping for the best, hoping for that like special play. You're making me dizzy.
Oh, sorry.
But he's, you know what I mean? Like he's hoping for that magical play that's going to end up on a highlight. No, Evgeny, we need you to be more polished, because when Gino's on, he's unbelievably talented. But these errors, like
This is what you get with him. You get the errors, you get the turnovers, you get the dumb plays, you get the giveaways, and you hope that he makes up for it.
This is a coach's nightmare. I can't stand it.
Oh, definitely.
I can't stand it. And for me, it's like, to me, it's too much of a risk, especially in the position we are in, dancing in and out of a wild card spot. I mean, it's not worth it to me. Like, you need to tighten up every aspect of your game. There's no room for error here. We're going to overtime too much. We're losing more often in overtime than we're winning. And we're going to overtime against, subpar teams, or teams that are just as, average as we are, I'm being nice saying average. It's not okay. Like, we need to perform at the amount of money we're being paid. Like, and it's not even that. Like, it's frustrating to me. It's really frustrating because I know Gino can be good. I mean, I know it's not 2012 anymore, but it's just frustrating.
It's just frustrating, and that's what you just hope and pray that the good outweighs the bad, and that's all you could. You're going to get the bad. You just hope you get the good with it, and that's a lot. That's a lot of this team. That's another player on this team, which we'll talk about.
Let me just check here. Is it's not?
What?
How many games we played? 47. So he's at a point per game right now.
That's not great.
It's not. I mean,
it's not that. No,
everyone's like,
sorry.
"Oh, point per game is good."
Not really. Not when you're paid that much, and when you're supposed to be one of the top 100 players of all time. Crap.
Like, okay, Sydney's at 57 points, and he's played every game, right? Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't like it.
One thing that was cute was Pio Joseph played against his brother, and they both
went off for
and then they show the parents, and the parents are like, "Oh, come on, kids,
come on." It's parent goals so hard for me my whole life. I'm like, I need this in my life.
Yeah. When they saw each other afterwards, one of them said, "He started it."
Yeah.
They've probably I don't know what the age difference in those two, but they've probably played like that all the time. So that's
been an ongoing thing since the beginning of time.
Right. Then on Sunday afternoon, which is a really weird time to play, they went to New Jersey to play the Devils, and we kind of expected, oh crap, this is not going to go well. And it actually did. They played a really good game. They lost in overtime, which was ridiculous. But, if it wasn't for the beginning of the game, Jack Hughes scoring 56 seconds in, that was it. They played after that crazy, first minute or two, they played really well the rest of the way. What did you think about the New Jersey game?
I was really delighted with this game, actually. Right from the beginning of the game. I've been harping on Sydney for not following through. He took that puck, he got the puck, I think it was along the boards, it's the center ice, and he took it right to the opposing net. He kind of shot with one hand on the stick. I'm telling you, if he put both hands on the stick, he might have scored. I like that effort. I want to see more of that. And then sadly enough, that turned around, they took it to the other end, and Hughes scored, which isn't the greatest thing, but I like the energy in this game. I found that we competed with New Jersey in this game. We kind of, it was more evenly matched.
We stayed with them.
We did stay with them. They kind of they outplayed us in a few areas, but in not all areas. I have so many notes for this game. I was really into this game, because New Jersey is a team to beat this season. What was our record with them? Because we did play them already, right?
That was a loss.
Yeah,
I remember.
They beat us 4-2, December 30th, right? In regulation. Well, obviously regulation. I'll be okay. But it was good. It was really, really good. And then the second period, I was really excited. Okay, so Sydney got a goal in the first period. So he really played hard in that first period. I know I've been all over him lately to be more, what's the word? Better?
Aggressive, assertive, better, just better more, in general,
more like himself. So I was really excited about this. And then the second period, it was fun. I was enjoying it. I was, the playoff hockey when you're sitting there watching it, and then you get onto your feet because you're into the play. And I was going through that. I'm like, oh my God. And I was on my feet, and I'm like, wait, what game is this? 46? Calm down, Jen. I was excited. We were out playing the Devils, and it was and then it kind of flattened out a little bit. It was kind of got a little stiff a little bit. I find that we're still lacking chemistry. Now it could be because, you know, I don't know. I actually don't know. You could say because of injuries or this, that, and the other, but these guys know each other. They're at practice together. They're in and around together. They're traveling together. Like, I don't want to make excuses for them. They need to be building chemistry. This is really important. But they shut down the Devils to only 2 shots on goal in the second period.
That was the best in not ever, but in a long time. That was one of the
that was so impressive. I was like,
it's amazing.
I was so impressed by that. I'm like, more of this, please. Like, and that's something to build off of, you know, like that was incredible. And my notes, like, I wrote, okay, so again, Carter was moved over to wing. He was our best on the dot. He was 75%. Bluger, Gino, and Sydney all went for 40%. I don't get this. Like, if this is gonna be the death of me, this is literally gonna be the death of me. Face-off wins are important. I'm tired of watching the Penguins chase the puck. I know it's not important in this game.
Okay, please explain what the rules are. Can only the center take a face-off?
Well, no, unless if the centerman gets thrown out for
you have to hope for the center to get thrown out to let someone else get the face-off,
or whatever, like the coach decides to put to run in, because I've seen, you know what,
I don't get it. I don't get it. Then just tell them, hey, Carter's a center, and then let him play as a wing or whatever. If that's what you want.
Like it just
yeah.
It's frustrating to me, because you know what, we're one of the worst teams in the league for face-offs. I don't even have to look. I don't have to look at other teams to know. I just watch us play any team. Anyways, I seem to be the only person that cares about this, but then I watch the Bruins, and they're in first place overall, and they're one of the best face-off teams in the league. And it's like,
coincidence? I think not.
Okay, there are no coincidences. Anyways, my notes for this, like, they need to be better on the line changes. I noticed at one point Sydney was slowly kind of like wanting to get off, and he's looking, and I'm thinking, like, you got to be, and he's made mistakes before in the season where he got off and then they scored. I can't remember the game specifically, but that's when he was kicking he was sitting on the bench and he was kicking his skate. Remember that? And he was pissed. He's making
and then he didn't play for a while because
he's not thinking straight. And I was catching him there, and I'm like, because he was hesitating. He's got to trust his instincts. And I was seeing in that moment on the ice, when he wasn't sure if he should be leaving, he needs to start trusting his instincts better. And I'm noticing that. I don't know why. I'm paying way too much attention to him. I got to start paying attention to other things, but he needs to trust his instincts better, because I'm picking up on that. And Sullivan needs to manage his bench better, because Pettersson, what happened there? Pettersson gets off, and we get too many men on, and then he gets and scores, and they get too many on men. They tie it up,
and it gets waved off because of that. Like, that was the game. And then the Devils score
in overtime.
I know you were not happy about that goal Jarry gave.
Jarry wasn't even like, he was just like, where was he looking? Like, it was one of the softest goals, and we're going to talk about that too, because Casey.
Oh God.
Okay, so breathe. Okay, Jarry needs to work on his glove side or in his attention span. Like, he must have been bored. You can't get bored in a one goal tie game. That's like playoff hockey. Like, one game, one goal tie game at 1. Like, this is like hair raising, edge of your seat hockey. Like, this is as good as it gets. If that was one of the softest goals I've ever watched Jarry let in.
Yeah,
I was shook. I'm like,
and he played well. You know, I was gonna say, did he play that good? Because he wasn't seeing that many shots.
No.
So no.
I think Jarry's been hurt since the beginning of the season. He's played hurt. I said it. He's been hurt since the first 2 games. And then he comes out and says he was playing hurt. And then he comes back and he takes some time off, and then he gets hurt again, and he's been playing hurt, and he comes back, plays a little bit, probably re-aggravates said injury, says he's going to come back, and then he comes off, because we'll talk about it
Yeah.
the next game.
We'll
But, like,
talk about it.
yeah, he's not taking adequate time off. Stay out all the way until, you know, a week or two before playoffs. I don't care, because Casey can't handle it. We can lean on Casey for a few games, but we can't lean him all the way. Anyways, okay. I said it again. Move Carter to fourth line center. Do it. Bench Ruedel. Bring back Smith. He's a firecracker. That's my notes. And build chemistry.
They sent him down. They sent Smith down.
I know. I cried.
It's,
I remember. I sent you the tweet today, and I like literally. I cried. I'm like. I was so angry. Not like sad tears. I was so angry. Like I had tears streaming down my face. I'm like, why am I so invested into this team?
The inability of Sullivan to play young players is absolutely ridiculous. And they say, well, young players need to earn his trust. And as soon as one of those young players make a mistake, then he doesn't like them.
What about all the mistakes he makes? Like,
look what all the mistakes Malkin makes. Look at all, you know, he can do whatever the heck he wants. Like it's ridiculous. There is not a planet that Chad Ruedel should be playing over Ty Smith.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say, if you ask me, Sullivan doesn't know how to set his lineup. Sullivan doesn't know how to run his bench. Sullivan doesn't know how to put feelings and emotions aside from, you know, efficiently running his team. You can see that the mentality is shook on this team. You can see that the chemistry is severely lacking. Like, what are you doing?
The funny thing is, I just heard today someone said this is a very tight-knit group. They're very close. This is one of the best groups in a long time. Really? What does that mean? Because it ain't translated on the ice.
Oh, well, yeah, they might be best friends off the ice, but on the ice, they look like a bunch of stiff strangers. It's like, you know, grade 9 orientation, where a bunch of grade 8 students come to high school and they're all like checking each other out. It doesn't feel good. Let's exclude last night's game. We're not going to have that. Like, we're not including that into this conversation, but it's painfully obvious that these players are all out for themselves up until, like I said last night. Like, there's no fluidity again, we're talking up until like up to game 46. It's not there. Like, even before Letang was away, even when we had Letang, before he went through his stuff, there was no chemistry. There was for the first few weeks of the season ish, but when I go back through my notes, like, I'm like, there's no chemistry in this team. Chemistry is what helped us win in those back-to-back cups. That was our biggest thing.
And that was my big point that I was going to bring up, that I've heard many times in the past few days. The words, something's missing. Something is missing on this team. I don't know what it is.
I do.
What?
I'm not telling.
Oh.
It's a secret.
I'm gonna have to have like premium content where you have to pay $4.99 a month for the good stuff or something like that with the way we're going here. But the Devils, Dougie Hamilton, bro, aren't you a little old to be called Dougie? Come on, man. I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dougie Hamilton. Dude,
the guy that scored in overtime.
Yeah, the guy that scored in overtime. Like, Dougie, really, man? Can we? I would prefer
Dougie Gilmore. He still gets Doug Gilmore. Still gets Dougie Gilmore. So
okay, but like mostly he was Doug Gilmore.
And Doug Gilmore's like, I don't know, like 50 something. Yeah. I don't do ages.
An old man being called Dougie that's a problem. Then again,
I'm not a big fan of the IE sound.
Oh my god, that's every hockey hit nickname though.
Nickname's different, but like for me, I'm Jennifer. If someone's called me Jenny, Unless it's like a term of endearment, unless like I allow you to, I won't even look at you.
Yeah, I
I
don't
like
see.
two people in my life have been allowed to call me Jenny.
There are some Jennifers that like prefer Jenny, but that ain't you. You're no Jenny.
Oh man.
No.
My nickname was the Chef for Chefero, my last name, of course.
How about Chefy? No, I guess not. Okay. I forget. Strike that from the record.
That from the record.
Then on Tuesday night.
Errors. This was a good night.
Oh,
for
I'm
errors.
sorry. Yeah. Errors and I missed shots.
We had 17 total errors against New Jersey. 2 turnovers. Only
That's
2
awesome.
turnovers.
That has to be
I was
best
celebrating.
of the season.
I'm like, this is it. We're on our way. We're
has to be
finally
best of
getting
the
it.
season.
Our turnovers were Rust and Friedman. We had 15 missed shots. I don't like missed shots. I don't like turnovers either because they lead to us being scored on. But missed shots are us scoring. Like, these errors are going to drive me to start drinking again. I swear to you, they drive me nuts. They remember last week it was like, what was it, like 50 missed shots and 41 turnovers. But yeah, down to 2 turnovers and in one game, I was like, awesome. I want to celebrate, like bust out the champagne or the sparkling apple juice. Like, I was so impressed. And Gensel had no errors in this game, which I decided to write down because he usually has something. So yeah.
Okay. Then we go to Tuesday nights at home, hosting Florida, who is very close in the standings to the Penguins. So this was a very important game in terms of playoffs. The Friday game against Ottawa, they limited Ottawa to 1 goal. We just talked about the Sunday game against New Jersey Devils, where it was a tight defensive game, few errors. Then we get to this Florida game, which was an absolute bleep show. What the bloody hell just happened here? What happened?
It's another game not worth celebrating. I'll be honest. Too many goals. Just too many goals. I mean, I like us scoring that many goals, but I mean, we let in 6 goals. That's gross. And I mean, Casey. Oh boy.
Okay, let's yeah.
Start at the top.
Before the game. So in the morning skates, Jarry was listed as the starter. Apparently he gets to the arena and says he's injured, upper body injury. I heard maybe puck to the head. I don't know. That's a little scary. But so Casey is in and there is no backup. The only backup is the emergency backup. So basically it's Casey or nothing. Also Florida only had 1 goalie. I think because of illness or injury or something like that. So
you guys don't have emergency backup goalies in the States?
Well, I know the Penguins do. And I'm sure Florida did too. Whoever that was, but basically
usually the home arena has an emergency backup that will play for either team, you know?
What?
Well, David Aries, he played for the Carolina Hurricanes. He was the Toronto Maple Leafs backup goalie, wasn't he?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he played for the Carolina Hurricanes in
I
Toronto Maple Leafs.
thought each team had their own e-bug.
Oh
my God. So wait. So, I mean, because that was historic when
it was amazing.
When wasn't he the Zamboni driver or something like that?
No.
Something.
He drove the Zamboni for like something else. But
Okay.
yeah, no.
Okay. So okay. But yeah, that was amazing that that an
Yeah.
emergency backup. So emergency backup beat his own team. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then it was amazing. It was actually amazing because like I was watching the Pens game and we finished the game and I turned on the next game, which was the Leaf game, and I'm like, what the heck? And I see the Leafs tender is wearing the Leafs like setup, but a Canes jersey, and I'm like, what the heck's going on, right? And then you get caught up, and yeah, because
He
everyone
won.
all the goalies got hurt, so he had to come in.
There is a Twitter account just dedicated to number of days since
the Leafs won, or the Flyers won the cup, and the Leafs won the cup,
and
the
and how many days since the Leafs lost to a Zamboni
I
driver.
hate that. I think that's so offensive to David.
Anyway, so Jarry was not available. It was Casey DeSmith at the last minute, and he played like someone that has never played the game of hockey before.
No.
You think he played okay?
No. He actually came up with a few good saves. I mean, hold on. I'm not happy about yesterday's game. I'm happy about the win, yes, but I'm not happy about the amount. I mean, it's not just on Casey, it's our defense. Like, what was it? The first goal that came in, we had, was it the first goal? Or no, it was the second goal. Kachuk's goal. You have Dumoulin and Ruhwedel just standing there. They're facing Casey, not facing. Oh my God, I'm just gonna lose it. I was gonna lose it.
The defense was absolutely horrible.
Okay, first of all, let's start with the lineup. You want to start with the lineup? Okay, so you have Dumoulin back playing with Letang. Wrong. It should have been Pettersson playing with Letang. That's who he was playing with before he went on his little, taking care of himself. So that's where it was all wrong. No disrespect to Dumoulin. Dumoulin's getting a lot of slack online. He's not our worst player. I will stand on a hill and yell this. Dumoulin definitely deserves to be on the lineup. He does not deserve to be in the first slot. Second or third pairing, at least second pairing. Should have been Pettersson and Letang first and foremost. But disaster. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to say it now. Our D pairings as they are right now should be Letang, Pettersson and Letang, Dumoulin and Petry, and Joseph and Smith. Smith. Bring back Smith. I don't know why Ruhwedel's here. We've always done well with the kids. I'm going to keep repeating this until I'm blue in the face. Bring back Smith. Bring back the kids. We did well with the kids. Why are you not listening to me anymore? Anyways, that's what we need to do. Ruhwedel's useless this year. Is he not?
He ain't it.
Is anyone watching this?
He ain't it. He's not doing well.
Get rid of Ruhwedel. It's on every page that I write this down. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. I showed you my notes last night too. I had them scratched out, everything scratched out. But yeah, it was just like, what's going on here? They were flustered right to begin with. Yeah. Okay, so Kachuk scores on the power play. Right away, I'm thinking in my head, Sullivan would kill you to put Sydney on the PK unit. Team Canada does it, and you said it yourself. It would throw off the opposing team to have some offensive power.
It would scare the heck out of them if Crosby was out there, because
it's not
you're
like
more.
Sydney doesn't know how to play hockey on any situation. Like, do it. Just do it. I don't know what's going on with this team. It's like they sit in these certain like roles and they don't want to mix it up. Mix it up. Like everything, this team is so bloody predictable.
One thing I've heard is that Pettersson and Petry are like the perfect pair, and they can never be separated, and they're so good together, and it's the pair of the century. And
stop listening to Penn's Twitter. Stop it. Even the experts on Penn's Twitter, remember? We've had this conversation. They don't know what they're talking about. Even the one said face-offs don't matter.
But yeah, Dumoulin, you can't put Dumoulin with Letang. Okay, if we can't break up the blessed pairing of Peterson and Petry, then put POJ with Letang then. But don't, maybe they did that because it was Letang's first game back. I don't know, and Letang is used to Dumoulin. Maybe that's why.
Letang's a professional. If anyone on this team is the most professional, it's Kris Letang. And let's talk about how he proved that last night. He came after everything he went through, and he was our fastest player on the ice. He played with the most charisma, and he got the job done. And he hasn't even been our best player this season, but he was our best player last night.
Well, it was very emotional for him. It's his first game in about a month after all that's happened. He apparently, I thought it was a foot injury, maybe it was a knee injury too. So on top of everything that happened with his father, he also had to deal with an injury. Very, very emotional night. He gets the overtime winner.
2 goals, 2 assists. Like, I want that version of Letang every night, and I want that to motivate the rest of our team. But like, he was fast, he was sharp, it was beautiful. But I noticed him and Dumoulin. I mean, what did Dumoulin do last night? He got 1 assist. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna harp on Dumoulin, like, big deal. You know who I want to talk about? Heinen. 3 points.
Heinen was awesome.
0 errors. Why isn't Heinen playing every night, Sullivan?
Because he was in Sullivan's doghouse.
Why? Because he's better than you? Oh my gosh. It's so frustrating to me because, and I always thought Heinen was actually a bit younger, but Heinen's been one of my favorite players this season. Literally. And I know our 4th line was probably our best line last night. Excuse me, but I'm not stuck on that line. I don't think it will be that successful.
So they made the 4th line Paling at center with O'Connor and Heinen, which I think is the first time they've done that.
Yeah, but Paling was trash on the dot.
Wow. If only they had another player that's good at faceoffs that can move down to the 4th line.
This is what I say. I'm not going to touch the first 2 lines. I think the second line is perfect. Yes. God forbid we touch the top line because I don't know feelings. But O'Connor, 3rd line, O'Connor on left, Luger in the center, because, I don't know. McGinn on the right wing, Paling, 4th line, left wing, Carter center, and Heinen on the right wing. Until Kapanen comes back, I don't know. I don't know. I'm so frustrated with this. I've been staring at notes for, like, Joe, I haven't slept since you told me to fix this team. I've been going over stats, over the notes that I've been taking, looking at lineups, running different scenarios, rewatching games, running through scenarios. Like, I've been doing what I did in the first year that I became a Penguins fan. I've been doing what I did that year, and I watched more hockey in that year than I did in my entire life. Like, I rewatched games, did notes, like, it's crazy. And I keep looking at everything, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how, because you don't want to break up Gensel, Rust, and Sidney, but I do. I really want to.
Who deserves most to be taken off that top line, Rust or Gensel?
It's tough because, one night Gensel has a good night, and then the other night Rust has a good night, but the 3 of them together are stale. Some nights they do have a good night together, but it's not consistent enough for me. And it's not consistent enough for Sidney, and he deserves better. When he, like, for example, he's been doing better. Like, he had 1 goal, 3-point night last night, a goal the day before, or whatever, an assist the night before that, 3 assists the nights before that. He's coming out again. Seemingly every time I yell in these podcasts, he comes back to life. But it's not enough. That top line will be more productive when all 3 parts are working equally, right? And it's not going to happen without some sort of change. And I said it to you, bring up a kid, slot a kid in there. It's not the end of the world if one of them gets dropped down to the third line. Like, screw your feelings.
Yeah.
Is it your feelings where your slot on the lineup, or do you want to raise that big, beautiful cup again? What's this about? Your feelings or win or lose?
Yeah.
I like to win. I really like to win. And I like to watch this team win. So, I mean, get over yourselves.
Like, and they like to win too, but they like to win their way.
Okay, but their way hasn't been working.
Thank you.
And it's not going to happen this year because look at the caliber of teams. Okay, so let's consider for a minute, Joe. First, before we get into this, 30 errors last night.
Unbelievable.
30.
Unbelievable.
16 turnovers and 14 missed shots.
God.
And Sydney had the most, but I can't get mad at him because he had 3 points. And everyone else was it was 30. We had 30 errors. Heinen had 0. Heinen is my number one star. He had 3 points. Heinen, stay on the team forever. I still want to see Heinen play up on the first line. I've been saying it. I just want to see it for a game. I think there's something special in that kid. He's not a kid. I know he's not a kid. I'm sorry I keep calling him a kid. He's like, what, 28? I think that he could give something, fresh. But I'm just like regurgitating something I'm wasting my breath and I'm getting tired of it. But yeah.
Here's an amazing stat. Now, I know plus minus really doesn't mean crap, but Malkin had a goal and 2 assists, which means he was on the ice for 3 goals and he ended up with a -3, which means he was on.
The second line wasn't the greatest last night.
They were not good last night.
Zucker had 0 points last night.
Yeah, he was.
Raquel had 1 goal. They weren't that great last night, but I'm still saying don't break up that line. Going back to what I was saying before, look at the caliber. How do you say that word?
Caliber
of teams that we're up against. Look at Carolina. Look at Boston. I haven't even considered the Western Conference. Like, we're not beating Boston in a best of 7 in the Eastern Conference. We're definitely not beating Carolina. We're getting swept in that.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly. Their only hope is to at least get further up in the Metro and maybe play a weaker opponent or something like that in the first round, and then hope that Carolina or Boston gets eliminated or something like that.
If I see Heinen get benched when Kapanen comes back, like, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, I'll bet it's happening. But we need to talk about Jarry. I believe this is the 4th time he's been injured.
No, I think he's been injured all season.
Okay, well, the 4th time he's been out with injury. Let's put it that way.
I think he's.
He's not reliable. He's supposed to be your number 1 goaltender. He's not reliable. He's not available.
Goalies are scary. It's scary. This is why, no disrespect to Casey, because Casey is a good. Such hard to say what I'm about to say after last night. Casey is a good filler in for, a slot here or there, but I've never found Jarry to be a solid number 1 anyways. This is why I don't have too many Pittsburgh Penguins friends. I'm hearing it now. Yeah, Ron Hextall really screwed this team over.
He sure did.
But let me tell you something, and I know we only had Tokarski. Am I saying that right?
I believe so. Yeah, Tokarski.
We only had him play once for us this season, and we lost 4-1. But we had Dumoulin and Friedman as our top D pairing, so I can't really. I can't really blame him for that loss.
Yeah,
And we
that
played
was when all the all the good defensemen were hurt. Also he did come in. He came in the Vancouver game or Anaheim.
Winnipeg.
No,
I'm looking at my notes.
okay, but he came in for the Smith. The Smith got pulled one game, and Tokarski
Oh,
came in.
right.
I forget. I was at that game. I think it was Vancouver.
Vancouver, yeah.
And he played well in that.
But we
game.
won. We won 5-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Oh, that's when Dumoulin fed the puck to Sydney, and it was a beautiful. Yeah, I remember. That was a Vancouver game. But yeah, that game he lost. What I'm trying to say is, we got to give him a fair shake because he was playing really well with the baby Pens.
Yeah. I'm going to quote. I don't know if you know this person, Adam Gretz.
I do. I think. Yeah. I don't know.
And this is what he said last night. Also sticking with the same goalie duo every year when one of them cannot stay healthy and the other cannot be trusted to be anything other than bad is something the front office does not get enough criticism for. Literally cost them 2 postseasons in a row. Thank you.
No. So blaming everything. I'm sorry. I'm not coming at you, Joe. I'm coming at this other fool that's talking a lot of rubbish. Anyone that puts all onus on a goalie is talking out of their butt, because there's a whole team in front of that goaltender. That is absolute. You ask any player on the ice, and I'm going to get so heated over this. I'm so tired of people blaming one player on a team. Okay, Casey might not be the best goaltender in the league, but that kid's come up with, sorry, he's not a kid. He's a 30-year-old man. I'm so sorry. That's so disrespectful. It's not all on Casey. For example, last night, he let in 2 that I have here, completely disgusting goals. And they both happen to be of course, this guy, I'm never going to be able to say his name.
Sure. Him.
That guy. He scored twice last night. Casey let them in. It was his kryptonite. Casey's kryptonite. The guy that tied up at 3 and tied it up at 6. He led it. To blame it on one player is not okay for me. It's a team sport, and it's never just one player.
Okay, but you still need your goalie to be good.
Yeah, but you need your defense to be good. You need your
offense
to be scoring. Our defense hasn't been good. Our defense hasn't been good.
Okay. I've heard it said that this team plays different when Jarry's in goal as when the Smith is in goal. I don't know exactly what that means, but the record is, the record is much better with Jarry in goal than the Smith. But the thing is,
so if we won every game with Jarry in net?
No. But what?
I just want to.
My point is, if you think that the Smith is known as not as good of a goalie as Jarry, if you think that your goalie is not that good and the guy in the net that night is not that good, here's a crazy idea. Play a little bit better defensively so that your goalie does not get hung to dry and get exposed. And like you said, it's the whole team that plays in front of that goalie. Yes, the goalie has to stop shots, and especially on this team, the goalie has to stop crazy shots, breakaways, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, all this crazy stuff that doesn't necessarily happen on other teams. But play better in front of him so he doesn't have to face the hard shots. And that sure as heck didn't happen last night. It was fire wagon, run and gun hockey, the kind of stuff you saw in the 80s. That's not winning you anything.
Last night was
it's a disaster.
Oh, it was bad. You kept saying that in our chat box, and I was just like, no, it's really good. I was just really excited about the speed. I'm like, I haven't seen this speed from this team in forever.
That's Letang. Letang is the third most important player on this team. Maybe.
Well, he
obviously Crosby's number 1. Maybe the goalie's number 2. Letang is when Letang's not there, maybe he's not the best defensively, but he is really good at getting the puck to the forwards and getting that transition game going.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I agree with that.
because when Letang and Petry were not in there, this team was a disaster. Not a disaster, but there were a lot of things exposed.
I still think, regardless, I think our D needs to be, we need to find the right alignment with our pairings. And I think Sullivan needs to stick with something so that they can build chemistry, the pairings. You can't, it's not magic. You can't just like wave a wand and be like, this is it, that's gonna work. You gotta give it, oh, it didn't work tonight. Okay, we'll mix them up and we'll switch them. You gotta let them, and you gotta stick with them. You gotta give them like 5 to 10 games to find their ebb and flow. It just doesn't happen. And this is something that drives me nuts with Sullivan. It didn't work tonight. Okay, we'll try this. We'll try this. Because if you look at the notes, it's always switching. And it's like, find something and stick with it. You can't find, there's no fluidity here. There's no wonder there's no chemistry. How do you find chemistry? Why is our second line so good of our forwards?
Because they stuck together. Yeah.
They've been playing together for so long.
Yeah.
Is Sullivan losing his eyesight?
I think he's losing his mind.
I'm losing my mind, Joe.
I'm losing my mind too. It's so frustrating. Their lack of getting what they should have done was get somebody to compete with Jarry, or at least be as good, almost as good as him.
Work with Casey to be better. I mean,
yeah, that would help too. That would help too.
Just train. Practice makes perfect. You can practice hard. Who's this goalie coach? What are they doing over there?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, in the last 3 games, we've had 29 turnovers and 38 missed shots. Gino's in first place with 6 turnovers in 3 games, and Rust is in first with 5 missed shots. I'm gonna leave it at that. We have in 47 games, we have 443 turnovers.
Almost 10 a game.
And 563 missed shots.
So it's about 12 or 13 a game.
I don't know which one I don't like more. Oh, by the way, Heinen in 3 games has 0 errors. 0.
That's going to be great. It's going to be great when he's up in the press box, because you know what?
If that happens, I'm not going to watch anymore. So I'm going to come do these podcasts with you, and I'm going to be like, oh, I'm just going to sit here.
So Jen, what did you think of this game? I don't know.
And I'm going to laugh. I'm going to be like, I don't know, where's Heinen?
I'm gonna bring a phone book then. I'll just read from the phone book or something. I don't know.
Oh no, I'll be like, no, I'll have my lineup, and I'll just be like, you'll ask me a question. I'll be like, oh, that's because Healthy Scratch here. And I'll look, oh, why? Oh, that's because Dumoulin is on here. And oh my goodness. You know what? I made a commitment to watch every game this season, and it's gonna be really tough against the Sharks. The Shark games I have not been able to watch the Pens play the Sharks. I know I can't call myself
play
a Shark fan
on
anymore.
Saturday. Oh my God, they play this Saturday. Oh, at home. Ooh.
And then ready for this? The Pens are in San Jose on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, the universe has jokes, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this and it has been announced that Jarry is out until the All-Star break, which is
that's fine. Take the break.
Next week, take the break.
I hope Sullivan decides to play
Tokarski.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have a big game tomorrow night at Washington. Huge game because Washington's directly above them in the wild card standings.
No,
and
we've moved into the first spot.
Oh, okay. So Washington's right behind us now.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, we're tied, but
okay.
We have 3 games on hand, 2 games in hand.
Oh yeah, that's
we have the same amount of points. Can I just tell you something funny?
Sure.
My notes for last night: get rid of Ruedel, bring back Smith. 3rd line is trash. 4th line was gold. Paling is trash on the dot. Move Carter to 4th line center. Play Sydney on the PK. Way too many turnovers. Sullivan's lineups are trash. D pairings are trash. Too many errors. Jen can't take this anymore. But we won.
But we won.
13 goals in total. Yippee.
There you go. There you go. That is a nice summary. So at Washington tomorrow, then home to San Jose, and then that's it. That's the All-Star break.
It's the Jennifer birthday break.
Your birthday is next Saturday. No, or
Yeah,
a couple Saturdays. Oh,
what am I gonna do for my birthday? There's not even football to watch. Is there gonna be football on that day? Like, what do I do?
I don't think there's football. I don't know. Curling? Is that a thing?
I'm gonna go play curling.
I don't know. I mean, is like, are there like curling
Maybe
games?
I'll go to Ottawa and I'll skate the Rideau Canal. Ooh.
The canal's frozen. You just skate on it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ooh.
It's like an ice path. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, really? Oh,
or maybe
really
I'll get like some pond hockey going with the boys.
So like you have ice. How long? Like do you usually just have ice? Like pond ice? All that's like when does this happen?
So it's okay. So Canada has the most like freshwater lakes in all of the world. Yeah. So like when the water freezes over, we could skate on it.
I get it, but when does the water freeze over?
January.
Okay, because we don't have that here.
I know you don't. And when I was in Pittsburgh for a lot of the time, and I'm like looking for a place to skate, they're like, you got to go to a rink, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, there's no. I mean, I live near a lake. And occasionally, like if it's rare, but when it gets cold enough, then the lake does freeze over and people do skate on it.
You can't, well, no, because you're not that far north. Like if you go up a little bit north of Toronto, there's a lot of ice fishing. Like they'll have huts and you go and you carve a hole. Like, do you fish? Do you ever like to fish?
I don't, but I know people that do.
Ice fishing is epic. Like you go cut a hole in the ice and you have a hut. And you sit in there with your little, oh my goodness. You got to come and visit Canada for like in the winter. Joe's like, no. Ice fishing? No.
I'll
pass.
I can't think of something I would rather do than fishing, but no, yeah, fishing is not my thing. I'm not an outdoor person, but I want to learn. I don't even know how to skate. How bad is that? I don't even know how to
You know how many of my Pittsburgh friends are like, come teach me how to skate? And I had to get ice at RMU. I mean, if I ever make it back there, I don't know. But yeah, I'll hold like adult.
You got to teach me how to skate.
Adult teaching lessons for all my Pittsburgh friends.
Yeah. Just have a clinic.
I would do it.
Also
but yeah, no, like there's so much pond. We've got like outdoor rinks everywhere set up for outdoor hockey, but then there's so many places where it's just frozen ponds.
That is so cool.
At night, we can't do it unless we set up like floodlights, but like people will just pull up their cars and turn on their I-beams.
Oh, wow. And that's your lights.
We'll bring lights that's on tripods. Like we're pretty, like inventive. We'll figure out a way. Like it's a huge thing up here. There's places I could think of at least 500 places to go and play hockey right now outside.
It is very rare to find places to skate around here, and
that makes me sad. You know what? There's only like 6 rinks when I was there.
That's about it. And those rinks are like booked like 24/7. I mean,
I know. I went to go see my friend's son play, and I was like looking at their schedule and I'm like, holy crap. And it's not even like the nicest rinks. I remember saying if I ever was to win the lottery, I'm going to build a rink down there, like a 4-rink place rink. Just because
the Jenny Dome. That's what we call it.
No, Jenny. Call it Donut Dome.
The Chefero, the Chefero Chalet.
Chefero Chalet. But
yeah, right, so
that made me sad. You guys.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, if it was colder here, people would be. I mean, as soon as it was a little bit cold and that lake was frozen, people were on that lake skating and playing hockey and stuff. It was really cool.
Well, that makes me happy.
Yeah, it's hockey is popular here. If they put Crosby on the penalty kill, it would be more popular, but that's beside the point.
I want to see that. I think that would
Seriously,
excite me. You have no idea.
Like throughout history, the stars of the team have been on the penalty kill for
I
exactly.
have wanted to see that since I became a fan in 2015, and I've been like saying, want to see it, want to see it, want to see it, want to see it. Still waiting.
If you put Malkin on the penalty kill, he would join the other team. He would get confused. So. He would join the other team and do shots on his
for the other team.
Yes.
He'd get confused.
He would celebrate with them.
You don't score. I am score. Whatever. I'll get it back.
Yeah. All right.
It's so hard to be mad at Gino though, because he's funny. He's animated, right? Yeah. I'm mad at him. I'm always mad at him.
All right. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Always. All right. I'll see you.
Ciao.
Bye.